Good morning and welcome to another conversation with Mose. And as always, I pray life is treating you well wherever you are in the world and that you're one day closer to your dreams and prayers coming true. And of course, my podcast wouldn't be a podcast without a poem. And this poem is taken from the book Autobiography of the Girl Next Door, written by my friend and fellow poet, Maisha Claiborne. If you get a chance to look her up online, her name is Maisha Claiborne and she's based in Atlanta. And this poem is called Black Man. Mysterious, deep brown eyes, they dart. High cheekbones and full lips, they part. Red undertones, cinnamon brown skin, so smooth. A slender, strong body flows with every move. Well-built arms attach baby soft hands. Long, muscular legs support a firm stance. And though that serious look remains on his face, his mind is completely a different place. Self-fulfilled, serene and kind, honest, wise, and genuine. His energy flows like strong, like that of a child, quiet and complex, imagination wild. His knowledge of the world runs deep. His ancestry makes him so complete. Feelings of contempt he does try to release as his search continues for inner peace. They say they're frightened of his violent kind, but they're really afraid of his brilliant mind. And minority he may be now to the European man, but inevitably he will rise, our strong, enduring, compassionate, intelligent, beautiful black man. I have to say I really love that poem, and I hate that I never got a chance to see her do that live. But if you're ever in Atlanta and you happen to see Maisha on the microphone, she is absolutely wonderful. Brief story about Maisha. Me and her and myself were in a poet group. It was a group of us that did poetry around Atlanta. And it was the four of us, and we actually, did poetry in coffee shops and every week, every month. And it was really a nice group of us that really got together and really just kind of expressed ourselves on the mic. And I miss those days because actually Maisha was one of the biggest influences as far as my getting more comfortable on the microphone and becoming more and more. I actually met her in a poetry group that I signed up for, and we just became friends and we started doing poetry together. And I love listening to poets, female poets, and getting a perspective from a female point of view. And her stuff is really, really good. And she's literally awesome on the mic. And honestly, I'm not sure if she's still doing poetry. I have to reach out to her and see what she's doing these days. But if you get a chance to check her book out, you would definitely like it. And it's called Autobiography of the Girl Next Door. So today I want to talk about something that has kind of been, like I always say, in my spirit. And I want to talk about the impressions that people make on us, or the impressions that we make on people, which brings me to my subject for the day. You only know what I want you to know. And I have to start by saying the saying that Oprah says, or I've heard, I don't know if Oprah said it originally, but when people show you who they are, it might have been Maya Angelou. When people show you who they are, believe them. But I've always kind of had a trouble with that statement because I feel like it really depends on how you meet that person, where you meet that person, when the circumstance. Because people only show you what they want you to know. So if people treat you casually, you're going to be casual to them. So you're not going to get everything. So I do believe that sometimes you can catch people on a bad day, catch them in a bad moment. So I don't totally agree with that statement 100%. The reason being is I feel like you really have to see all sides to a person to really know who they are. You have to know how they are under pressure, through good times, bad times, ups, downs, ins, outs, to really get a real true understanding of who a person is. We can assume a lot. And I think we've all made the mistake of assuming we knew who people were, and we got it wrong. Because right now I'm going through a period of trying to understand people better, understand their backstory, and because I still have a level of distrust. I don't make friends as easily as I used to. And I do go by first impressions, but I kind of watch and pay attention now to people. Things they say, things they don't say, things they do, things they don't do, body language, eye contact. I kind of look at all of it before I make an assessment. And then I try to figure out at that point how I want to treat you or where I want you to be in my life. Are you going to be a long-handled spoon friend? Are you going to be somebody I don't deal with at all? Is it going to be limited contact? So it's not as simple as, just seeing somebody and saying, okay, that's who they are. Because I do believe people show you parts of who they are. And of course, I'm going to use myself as an example. Like, for example, when I'm at work, there are only parts of me that you're going to see. Whether you know me on social media or casually, even there's things on social media that you're not going to know. You may know general things about me, but in terms of my day-to-day, how I am as a friend, how I am as a partner, how I am as a son, you're not going to know those things. I mean, there's some things yet you can listen to my podcast, you can even meet me, but there are some things you're never going to know unless I show them to you. And I think there are a lot of assumptions about myself in terms of things that have gotten back to me and the impressions that I feel like people believe I make online. But that's who I am. Everything you see online is me. I haven't lied about my life or where I am and who I am, whether it's on my podcast or through my work. I am who I say I am. And I think the trouble with it is people are baffled and there probably is some jealousy for some reason. I've never really understood that, the quote unquote hateration of that people maybe have toward me, or they think my life is bigger than it actually is. But I show you what I want you to know about me, and you only know what I show you or what I unveil to you. So, I mean, you may get bits and pieces of my life and fragments of who I am, but getting back to like work or casually meeting me, I'm one of those people that I'm kind of an open book. I'm not really a chatty Cathy, even though I do podcasts and, I do like to conversate. But I only like to talk to people that I'm exchanging energy with, to be honest. I'm at a point in my life where I want to exchange energy with people that are feeding my soul something, and I want to feed them something. Whether it's learning how to cook something or reading a good book that they might be recommending to me, or a movie, a documentary. But just to engage with people that's not feeding my soul, I just don't choose to do that. So I just kind of stay quiet. So of course I get the stigma of being antisocial, or that I'm not a talkative person, or that I'm standoffish, or that I think I'm better than you. I've heard it all. And that's not really me. I mean, if somebody met me, yes, I'm showing you who I am, but I'm showing you that I'm not really one of those people that likes to talk to people. If I don't like doing small talk, or I shouldn't say small talk, I don't like conversations that have no meat, no real substance to them. So, because I want to be fed, I'm not saying every conversation has to be deep or motivating, but I want to be inspired. I don't want to exchange energy with people that I'm just wasting my time on. I don't mind small, hey, how you doing? Small talk conversations. But again, I think I have made some impressions on people that maybe they thought I was this particular person and they realized that I wasn't. But again, I think it depends on how you meet me, and again, where you met me and when, and what I was willing to share with you. And also, did you catch me on a bad day? Did you catch me on a great day? And I'm just speaking for myself. Like I said, I can't speak for other people. I'm not saying that we aren't all who we say we are. But I can speak for me that I don't really, I'm pretty much an open book. I am sensitive, I'm temperamental, but I'll tell people, if I don't like something, I don't particularly care for that. And again, I'm at a point where I don't want to explain myself to people anymore. I don't feel like I owe you a justification why I do what I do. And I think we are in a space where people feel like they got to explain themselves. I don't feel that, and to be honest with you, I've been questioning the impressions that I've been making on people, kind of doubting myself, wondering, am I sharing too much? Am I not sharing enough? And recent experiences have taught me the one thing I've learned about myself that I love is that I know I'm a good man. I'm a good friend. I'm a good person. And I'm not vindictive. I'm not vengeful. I'm not one of those people that my feelings get hurt, but I don't have to have the last word anymore. I don't have to do anything anymore. I can walk away. I can, let things roll off my back. And the only time I feel like I have to say something in defense of myself or my character is when I feel like I have to say something. But only then. But as far as other people, I feel like I've been deceived more through my life because I think people have lied to me about who they are. And that's different. Because I think when people show you who they are, if they're lying to you, that's a different kind of animal to me. Because they're setting up a precedence for that relationship, whatever that is. And I feel like I've been lied to. And let me backtrack. I think people who lie to themselves about who they really are also are, you have to be careful with those kind of people because I think some people don't even really know who they really are or why they do it. And I'm not excusing it. I just feel like I've been under a lot of scrutiny with myself about getting it wrong with people. I think sometimes I ignore that small voice in me that says, this ain't right. This person ain't right. And sometimes, honestly, I hear it and I treat people accordingly. And what I've learned to do is just watch people, But what I've learned, I'm good as long as it's not directed at me. Meaning, like, I've met people that were obnoxious towards other people. And I'm not friendly with everybody. I can move through different circles that don't make me your friend. And so I met people that I knew that were kind of shady or nasty, and I just dealt with them accordingly. Now, when it's directed at me, that's a problem. I say live and let live. I've got bougie friends. I've got rich friends. I've got ghetto friends. I've got, backwoods friends. I mean, you name it. I've been friends or acquaintances with those people, and I let you do you. But when you direct it at me, that's a problem, because I do accept people's crazy. I know people that have issues and people that are a little off. It doesn't stop me from being their friend or being their acquaintance. But sometimes people direct things at you. And like I said, you only know what people show you. I mean, it's kind of weird because, like I say, now we have this internet fame where people online are selling themselves as this way, they got these great lives. And I think some people really are living those lives. People really are living their truth and they're sharing it with the world. And then there are people that are making it seem like their life is bigger than it is. And I don't really understand that either. I mean, I don't really get it. Like, I still feel like some things should be sacred. I don't really totally get the need for approval from the world. I want people to like my stuff. I really do. But I don't need nobody to approve it, And yes, I have a dad bod and I'm aging and I'm older now, but I'm proud of, a lot of people wish they could look as good as me. And I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I'm trying to look at it differently because I'm going to be 55 years old and I'm proud of who I am. I look good for my age. And sometimes I think I'm hard on myself thinking I don't look like this or I don't look like that. And I should be just proud of who I am. And I don't need nobody telling me you look handsome. I mean, it's nice. Of course, it's always wonderful to know that we're attractive and people appreciate us. But the way I look at the world now, it just seems like everybody wants to be seen and heard. But then you're not really showing people who you really are, though. That's the part that's sad. I mean, and some people are just nasty, and they don't hide it. Some people are and I've met those people, and it's unfortunate. My partner said to me recently that he can always tell when I'm headed for disappointment. And I'm probably misquoting him, but what I mean is that he knows when I let my guard down with people. And he's always just kind of telling me to be mindful and to be careful. And it's not the first time I've heard that. I mean, my parents kind of was like that, but I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I really do. I really try to keep an open mind when it comes to people. And I don't want to assume everybody's the same. I don't assume all black people are the same, all white people are the same. I try to give people a clean slate. And I think people are entitled to a bad day. I believe in forgiveness. I believe in saying I'm sorry. But a lot of people are different when it comes to, I can say when you see people where they don't have any money, when they really don't have any money and they're going through, you really see how people are, how they handle it. People with money, you see how they handle their situations and how they maneuver, how they treat their friends when they have money, how they treat their friends when they don't have money. You see people and it's like, it's never the people that you think it is. Never. Like, for example, I've had managers and directors in my life that were just probably some of the nastiest people I think I've ever worked for in the beginning. But they were the best teachers. I mean, I got more from the managers that were hard in terms of but they knew their jobs. Let me stand correct on that. They were very good leaders to me, and even though they were more challenging for me, I learned a lot from those managers. The managers that were difficult, that were nasty to me, were the ones that didn't know their job, the ones that were insecure, and the ones that were threatened by me in some way. And I've learned that my friendships, or people that I thought were my friends, that were threatened by me. And I'm still learning that to this day, that are people that have been threatened by me and people that are scared to work with me for whatever reason. And I know they're listening to my podcast. I know they're buying my books just out of curiosity. And it baffles me how the impressions that I seem to make on people. And I don't really care, honestly. At the end of the day, it's just, I know this is why I love podcasting, because it really kind of peels back the onion of who I really am. And it kind of dispels a lot of the mystery. And like I said, some things I'm going to keep to myself. I mean, some things I'm not going to share, but generally speaking, I am a nice guy. If you saw me on the street, depending on how you approach me and what I happen to be doing, I'm going to say hello. How are you? I'm not one of those people that, I don't disrespect people consciously. And I am the person, if I meet your parents, I'm going to say Mr. So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so. I'm going to call them by their first name with Mr. or Miss in the front. And, or yes, ma'am, no, sir. It's just me. That's the way I was raised. It's what I was taught. And I'm one of those people that I am going to go the extra mile. If you buy something from me, if you buy one of my books, if you buy one of my pictures, you do business with me, I'm going to say thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you for doing business with me. I appreciate all the customers I've ever had. Anybody that's ever bought one of my books, or participated in any event that I did, or, came to any open mic that I did. Even when I was in the music industry, people that came and supported the artists I was working with, I appreciate that. I don't take that for granted. And again, I feel like people have this impression, but also I won't ever apologize for greatness and the way I like to present myself. I like my stuff to look impeccable. I want my pictures to look great. I want my fonts to be great. I want everything I do to look fantastic. And the reason being is because I'm competing with the world. And what I mean by that, if you have billboards and if you have websites, you want your stuff to look as good as your competitor. You want people to stop and say, "What? Oh, wow, this is nice." even if they don't patronize you, I want my stuff to be impeccable. My imagery, my pictures, whether it's somebody I shot, or because your reputation, your work speaks for you. If it's your music, if it's your art, it should speak. It should be your calling card. It should represent who you are. And that's who I am. I like my stuff to look polished, but that's also years of experience too. Years of experience getting better at visually what I want the world to see from me. It didn't happen overnight. Some things I can look back and I can see my improvement. Even podcasting, I'm getting better with each podcast. If you listen to the earlier podcast, you might hear something different than what you're hearing now. And again, you only know what I want you to know. And I think, again, people just get a bad rap for being difficult. And if you're not in that person's circle, you have no reason to even say that, because you're not their friend. If you're not friends with me, there are parts of me that you're never going to see. You're just never going to see it, because we're not friends. Even acquaintances don't see some things. You're just not going to see that. And it's not that I'm being different or difficult. It's just that people that are my friends get that privilege to get close to me, to get those kind of conversations from me. But if we're not in that circle, you're not going to get that. And I think it's fair or not fair to judge people. But like I said, people that lie to themselves, people that lie to you, it's a whole different conversation. I feel like people are deceptive. People mean no good. But the people that are genuinely maneuvering through this life are very careful about who they share their relationships with, who they break bread with. And I'm no different. And I am who I am online, though. I mean, the things that I believe in, the things that I stand up for, the things that make me proud, that's all me. But in terms of my day-to-day, how I maneuver, if you're paying attention, you'll know who I am, especially in my books and in my art. You'll see what matters to me. If you're really paying attention, you'll know what matters and who matters to me. Because, for one, I love the Black experience. Even though we have so many challenges that we're born into, I love the Black experience. Everything I do is about the Black experience. And not just the bad stuff. It's the good stuff too. It's chasing the ice cream man when you're a kid. It's, eating penny candy and, playing outside and with your sisters and brothers with, the water hose spraying each other. I wouldn't change it for anything. There are a few things I wish I had known before I became an adult. But again, I love my journey. And I think this particular time of my life, I know things could have been different in my 20s and 30s. I don't even know if I would have lived this long. But for the first time in my life, really, I can say I'm really trying to enjoy my life instead of working all the time, and really enjoying my friendships, the people that I am close to. I really tell them all the time, I love you and I appreciate you for being in my life, just being there, listening, and I appreciate people that encourage me. And again, it's not about, I just think we all have to take time to get to know people, because we think we know people and we really don't, because people are still killing themselves for no reason. People are still shooting up places, and we only know what people show us. And again, I think it's never the people that we think. We get it wrong. We think a woman dresses provocatively, she must be a slut. She could be more, faithful than anybody you would ever know. It's usually the person that's the opposite. It's never the person that you think. I think a lot of times we look for the obvious, and it's not always the obvious. Sometimes it's the person you don't expect, because people can lie to you, be deceptive, and like I said, you don't know. But the one thing I've learned to do, and it's my suggestion to all of you, is you have to decide whether you want to forgive, forget, cut people off, disappear. And honestly, I just ask God to help me with that. help me with forgiveness should this person be in my life. And what I mean is, like, people can leave your life and come back at a different time. I'm not opposed to that. But at this stage in my life, I don't want to argue with anybody. I just kind of want to fade to black. If you show me who you are after I've seen the whole picture, then yeah, then I can decide whether I want this friendship, this relationship or not. But again, I think this is more for the people that have distrusting, if you don't trust people very much and they may not trust you. But I think you have to assess who you are as a person, decide, like, this is who I am. And everybody's not going to reveal who they are to you right away. And what I'm really trying to learn is forgiveness. And it's something that Bob Marley said, and I'm probably misquoting it, is that there are people that are going to hurt you. They're going to hurt you. You just have to decide who's worth it. And that's where I am. I have to decide who's worth it because I know people are human. I honestly, I look at the mistakes I've made. I know people are human. And forgiveness is not easy for me, but it's not hard either. But I guess for all the people out there that are maneuvering through this life, it's true when people show you who they are, believe them. But this time, get the whole picture first and then decide if that's who you want to deal with. Like I said, don't do it by first impressions. I mean, again, you can, but if you really think this person is interesting, I say assess the whole picture first and then decide if this is a relationship or a business partner or anybody that you want to deal with. So, like I said, you only know what I want you to know, and that goes for other people as well. And I hope that you guys were able to get something from this podcast. I really kind of, sometimes I wonder if I'm clear about what I'm trying to say. And by all means, like I said, please comment, send me a text or let me know what you thought about it and if you understood where I was coming from. And of course, I have to talk about my store, All Things Moetic. I do want you to stop by, and I'm working on some new product for the store soon. Hopefully in the next couple months, you'll see some new things in the store, and by all means, stop by. And I am working on a contest, probably for the summer. The details will come soon. I'm still working on the details right now. And always, definitely would like for you to come be a patron and contribute to my podcast. If you want to be a patron or a sponsor, by all means, go by the Podbean, Podbean, and take a look at my page. And the details are there if you want to be a sponsor in my podcast. I definitely appreciate you for that. And lastly, of course, in closing, I'm going to do another poem. And this poem is taken from my book, Call Me Junie. And it's available now where books are sold. And this poem is called But I Am. I didn't ask to be born, but I'm here. I didn't ask to be black, but I am. But I didn't ask to be gay, but I am. I didn't ask for racism, but I receive it. I didn't ask to be angry, but I am. I don't ask for criticism, but I get it. I didn't ask for death, but I accept it. I don't ask for love, but I want it. I didn't ask to be me, but I am. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, I want to thank you all for listening. And I'm almost close to another 1,000 downloads, and that's all because of you. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.